Pickle. Wait, two pickle. Hey, I'm your Korean food dad. I'm so glad you're here with me. I've got an extra special topic to talk about today. No joke, this video might change the way you eat forever. Okay, so as you know, I'm Korean American, and a lot of the food that I make for my videos is either Korean food or Korean inspired. It's the food I grew up with, and it's the food of the people that I come from. I'm proud to be Korean, and I'm really proud of Korean food. It's been so fun seeing Korean food get really popular around the world as people are enjoying dishes like galbi, bibimbap, and japchae. But today I want to focus on a part of Korean food that a lot of people sometimes gloss over. It's called banchan. Let's talk about banchan, some of the more popular and common banchan that you might find, how to eat banchan, and then a banchan related tip that could be a game changer for you. So let's look at a few of the more popular banchan that you might find if you're at a Korean restaurant or at the home of a Korean person. Let me know in the comments about any particular banchan that's been your favorite, and if you grew up eating Korean food, what was your favorite banchan growing up? First one I've got here is kimchi. Kimchi is probably the most famous and popular Korean banchan that there is. A lot of people don't know that kimchi doesn't have to be cabbage and it doesn't have to be spicy. Kimchi represents a whole category of Korean banchan, but it is true the classic one is napa cabbage and it's kind of spicy a little bit. Mostly it's fermented and a little bit sour. The next banchan I have is spinach. It's seasoned spinach. It's mostly salt and some sesame oil. A little bit of garlic also. It's always nice to have a little bit of a green vegetable. And this is one of the classics too. Here's some bean sprouts. We call it 콩나물. In a lot of ways, the bean sprouts are mostly about texture. They're kind of crunchy and kind of beany. But again, this is definitely one of the classics. Here we have some fish cake. In Korean, we call it 어묵. For being fish cake, it's not super fishy. It has kind of a nice sort of almost like toothy, almost spongy texture. This is the kind of banchan that you won't always get, but it's really yummy. Okay, this one's one of my favorites. This is just a pickled radish. The word for radish in Korean is 무, kind of like how a cow says moo. It's pickled radish. It's mostly in vinegar, a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar. It tastes really fresh and bright, and it's kind of like a nice palate cleanser. And finally, we have another one of my favorites. This is called 오징어 채무침. It's dried and seasoned squid. Have you had squid before? Dried squid is kind of chewy, almost like beef jerky. It's nice and salty and sweet, and this one's a little spicy. It really is one of my favorites. I've loved this my whole life. So here are a few of the most popular banchan that you might find at a Korean restaurant or at the home of a Korean person. Let me know in the comments about any particular banchan that's been your favorite. And if you grew up eating Korean food, what was your favorite banchan growing up? If you go out to a Korean restaurant, you'll often see a bunch of banchan laid out for you like this. But when eating at home, sometimes it's just one. Usually kimchi. Kimchi is definitely the most well-known. But what exactly is banchan? If you Google the word banchan, it's usually described as small side dishes. And they are small, and they're physically on the side, and they are in dishes. Sometimes people think they're appetizers, and you can eat them first because at a restaurant, they do tend to come out before your main dish does. Here's the thing though, banchan aren't really side dishes or appetizers. To explain, I think it's helpful to talk about how we eat banchan. For a lot of people, you're taught to eat one thing at a time. Even when there are many dishes in front of you, eat and chew one thing and then swallow, and then move on to the next thing. For Koreans, the way we eat banchan is that we start eating one thing, then we'll grab some banchan and add it to the first thing as it's in our mouths. Then we can taste it together and make all sorts of yummy combinations. Maybe you were already eating this way and never really thought about it. Or maybe you think it's gross to put food in your mouth when there's other food in your mouth already. How you grew up is how you grew up. And it's pretty interesting to realize that some folks grew up eating so differently than you did. You might realize that if banchan is eaten this way, it's important that they go with what you're eating. Some banchan is there as sort of a condiment, so you can eat it with your main dish. Some banchan is different and it's there to eat in between other bites. Which I guess it sort of makes it a side dish, doesn't it? Don't worry about whether you're eating it right or wrong. Feel free to try different combinations, and it's totally okay to eat what you enjoy the most. Here's the thing though, one day it dawned on me, if this is how we eat banchan, what else could we eat like this? Could this work if you were eating anything else? Sure, you could eat kimchi with a lot of stuff, but check this out. Maybe I want to eat this burger, and maybe I really love pickles. But if I put too many pickles in the burger, it's gonna just get messy and they're all gonna slide out. But what if every time I took a bite, I had some pickle like banchan? Then I could have more pickle. Maybe I could have some pickle and kimchi. Eating food banchan style really opens things up to new combinations and taste experiences. And it gives you a way to eat more of the things that you really want. I mean, I always really want more pickle than just 2 or 3 slices. And now I can. What food combinations can you think of that would be great to eat banchan style? Let me know in the comments. I'm so glad I got to share this food tip with you. Honestly, eating things banchan style that aren't Korean food, it's changed the way I eat. Maybe it will for you too. pickle. Wait, two pickle.